You think you're worrying because you care, because you want things to work out. But the Stoics would tell you the truth is far darker than that. You worry because you crave control, control you'll never have. Every moment you spend obsessing over outcomes that aren't in your hands, you're burning precious energy, tearing apart your peace. You tell yourself it's just preparation, but in reality, it's fear, masked as responsibility. You've convinced yourself that worrying keeps you safe, that it's your shield against chaos. But here's the painful truth. Your worry is what's keeping you trapped in chaos. The Stoics knew this. To truly live, you must accept that life moves according to its own rhythm, not yours. The more you fight it, the more you suffer. So, let me ask you, how long are you willing to let fear control your every move? How much longer will you hold on to this illusion of control before it tears you apart? If you're ready to break free from the shackles of constant worry and start living with purpose and clarity, then consider subscribing. Join the Stoic path of strength, resilience, and calm, and let's walk the journey of true self-mastery together. When was the last time you spent hours, maybe even days, obsessing over something you couldn't change? Whether it's a conversation you wish you'd had differently or an event you can't predict, that constant need to control every little detail comes from one place: fear. Fear of uncertainty, fear of failure, fear that if you don't worry enough, things will fall apart. We often tell ourselves that we're doing everything we can to prepare, to prevent disaster, but deep down, we know it's something more. It's an anxiety born of believing that the world must bend to our will, that if we don't stay alert, every situation will slip out of our grasp. The problem is, the more you try to control, the more you realize you're only controlling yourself, shutting yourself off from the true power of acceptance. True control isn't about planning every detail, it's about letting go. It's about accepting that some things are simply beyond your reach, and that's okay. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way, Marcus Aurelius reminds us. The path to peace, ironically, lies in accepting that not everything is ours to control. It's a difficult pill to swallow, isn't it? We often mistake our need to control for responsibility, as if worrying is a sign of care, a badge of honor that proves we're invested. But in truth, worrying only binds us to the things we cannot change. We tell ourselves that the more we control, the more we ensure things go right. But how often does that work out for you? How many times have you burned yourself out trying to control the uncontrollable, only to realize later that all that energy was wasted? The truth is, by refusing to let go, we chain ourselves to the very thing we fear: uncertainty. But uncertainty isn't your enemy, it's a part of life. If you let go of the illusion of control, you'll find a strange peace in the chaos, a calm in the storm. In fact, the more you release the need to control every outcome, the more you make space for life to unfold naturally. And isn't that what we all need? To stop fighting against the current and trust that we can navigate where it takes us. In moments when we stop clinging to control, we allow ourselves to breathe. It's in these quiet spaces, when we let go of expectations, that we find clarity. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control, Epictetus wrote. This is the heart of Stoic philosophy, recognizing the difference between what we can control and what we cannot. We can control our actions, our responses, and how we prepare, but the results, the outcomes, they are beyond us, and once we accept that, we free ourselves. The pressure, the stress, the constant mental gymnastics, all of it fades. Suddenly, things don't feel so heavy. We don't need to fix every little thing. We can simply act with intention, knowing that whatever happens, we have the tools to handle it. The irony is, the less we try to control, the more we end up having influence over our lives, because we act from a place of calm, not panic. Think about it for a moment. How much energy do you waste each day worrying about things that are simply out of your hands? It might seem like a small thing, but that constant low-grade anxiety builds up, seeping into every part of your life. You can't enjoy the present because you're always one step ahead, planning for an outcome you can't predict. So, you live half your life in the future and miss out on the beauty of the moment. This is where true power lies, not in what you control, but in how you respond to what you can't. The strength of a person isn't in how much they can manage, but in how they let go when it's time. He who is not a good servant will not be a good master, Seneca wisely said. When you stop thinking of yourself as the master of every situation, you free yourself to be a better leader in the areas that matter, and paradoxically, the more you relinquish control, the more you actually gain in terms of peace and clarity. It's easy to think that if you don't worry, if you don't constantly check everything will fall apart. But in truth, your worry is a mask for your fear, and by giving into it, you only strengthen the hold it has over you. When we worry, we let our emotions take charge. The key is not to suppress those feelings, but to recognize them for what they are, temporary disturbances. The Stoics believed that emotions like fear and worry are natural, but they didn't let them dictate their actions. They learned to observe their thoughts, not become consumed by them. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become, Carl Jung reminds us. This is the power of choice. You may not be able to control every situation, but you can control your response to it. And when you stop allowing your emotions to rule your decisions, you free yourself from the grip of anxiety. You tell yourself that you're just being cautious, that you're being responsible by overthinking every decision. But let's face it, anxiety is a distraction. It's the mind trying to protect itself by imagining every worst-case scenario, every potential failure, as if by simply worrying about it, you could prevent it from happening. But here's the thing, anxiety doesn't protect you. It paralyzes you. It traps you in a constant loop of what-ifs that keeps you from moving forward. In fact, anxiety doesn't give you more control over your life. It strips it away. The more you obsess over possible outcomes, the more you lose touch with what's actually in front of you. It's a constant cycle of fear, and it's holding you back, not keeping you safe. As Carl Jung once said, the greatest and most important problems of life are all fundamentally insoluble. They can never be solved, but only outgrown. In other words, anxiety tries to offer solutions to problems that often don't even exist, keeping you stuck in the very issues you need to outgrow. Freedom from the need to control every variable, freedom from the pressure to predict every move. Imagine a life where you're not constantly second-guessing yourself, constantly trying to anticipate every curveball life might throw. The truth is, you can't predict everything. The more you try to, the more you limit yourself. You miss out on the ability to adapt and respond to what's actually happening in front of you. The more you hold on to anxiety, the less room you have for possibility. In the words of Epictetus, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. It's not the abundance of planning or controlling that leads to peace, but the release of the unnecessary, the unhelpful, and the unrealistic expectations. But that's not easy, is it? Letting go of worry feels unnatural. We've been conditioned to believe that the more we worry, the more prepared we are. We've been taught that by obsessing over every detail, we can somehow ensure a favorable outcome. But what if we've been going about it all wrong? What if, by letting go of worry, we open ourselves to greater clarity, creativity, and flow? When you stop getting bogged down by anxiety, you make space for clearer thinking and decisive action. It's not that you stop caring or preparing, it's that you stop allowing fear to be your guide. You start moving through life, not as a reaction to every possible danger, but as a proactive force, ready to engage with whatever comes your way. That's true freedom, not waiting for certainty, but embracing the uncertainty with confidence. We all want to control the outcome, don't we? We want to make sure that everything goes according to plan, that we're fully prepared for whatever life throws at us. But in reality, life rarely goes exactly as planned. In fact, life's greatest moments often come when we let go of rigid expectations and allow things to unfold naturally. When we trust ourselves to handle whatever comes, we don't need to predict every possible outcome. We just need to act when the time is right. It's in this space of acceptance that we discover the true power of detachment. Not detachment from life, but detachment from the constant need to control and predict. You don't have to have everything figured out to take the next step. You just need the courage to take it. So, what happens when you stop letting anxiety run the show? When you stop worrying about every decision, every outcome? It's simple. You begin to trust yourself. You let go of the fear that says you're not prepared or you'll fail. Instead, you shift your mindset from survival to growth. You stop viewing the world as something to be controlled and start seeing it as something to engage with, to learn from. You realize that you're not here to avoid failure at all costs. You're here to live, to learn, to experience. Life isn't something that happens to you. It's something you shape with every decision, with every response. And the more you trust yourself, the more you'll realize that even when things don't go as planned, you're still okay. You'll find that the fear that once held you back begins to fade, and in its place, a new sense of confidence emerges. You start acting with purpose, not hesitation. Anxiety wants you to believe that the future is something to fear, something to prepare for with worry and doubt. But the Stoics teach us that the future is not something to predict. It's something to meet with equanimity, with calm. By embracing uncertainty, you open yourself up to a world of possibilities. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the time to begin living, to stop letting worry dictate your every move, is now. When you make that choice, you shift from a life of constant preparation to one of action, of experience, and of growth. And once you do that, you'll realize just how little your anxiety really matters. The world doesn't need you to worry about every possible outcome. It needs you to show up, present and unafraid, ready to embrace whatever comes next. So let go of the anxiety that holds you back and step into the life you were meant to live. There's something magnetic about someone who remains calm, even in the face of chaos. Picture this. A group of people panicking, rushing, reacting to every little thing, their minds clouded by fear and uncertainty. And then, in the center of it all, there's one person who stands still. They don't speak frantically. They don't rush to fix everything. They simply observe, breathe, and stay grounded. There's a quiet strength in them that draws others in, a presence that calms the storm around them. This isn't about being emotionless or detached. It's about being in control of your emotions, not letting them control you. Composure isn't a sign of indifference. It's a sign of inner strength. It's about knowing that just because things are spinning out of control, it doesn't mean you have to be part of that chaos. When you stop worrying, your ability to think clearly improves. It's like cleaning a fogged-up window. You can finally see the bigger picture. Composure allows you to zoom out, to take in the situation without being clouded by immediate emotions. And with that space, you can make decisions from a place of calm, not panic. This doesn't mean you're unemotional or detached. It means you're emotionally resilient. You have the ability to withstand pressure without letting it crush you. And the best part, people around you start noticing. They start trusting you more, not because you have all the answers, but because your steady presence makes them feel secure. But here's the catch. Composure isn't something that just appears out of nowhere. It's something you cultivate over time. You don't wake up one day and suddenly become an unshakable force. It takes practice, reflection, and most importantly, awareness. You need to recognize when you're being swept up by your emotions, when your fear is starting to cloud your judgment. And instead of fighting it, instead of letting it control you, you simply let it pass. This takes courage, but it's the kind of courage that only grows stronger the more you practice it. It's not the things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them, Epictetus teaches us. It's our own thoughts about situations that create our emotional reactions, not the situations themselves. And once we realize that, we can begin to separate our emotional responses from the actual events happening around us. Have you ever been in a situation where everything was falling apart, and yet one person in the room remained calm, their clarity cutting through the chaos like a knife? They didn't panic. They didn't rush to fix everything. Instead, they took the time to understand the problem, to weigh their options, and to make a decision from a place of calm. That person didn't have some magical power. They simply knew that being calm in the storm was far more powerful than being swept up in it. And that's a lesson we can all apply to our lives. The next time you find yourself in a difficult situation, instead of reacting impulsively, pause. Take a breath. Remember that your composure is your strength, and the more you practice that composure, the more clearly you'll see your path forward. This is the power of composure. It's not that you don't feel fear, anxiety, or stress. You do, but instead of letting those feelings control you, you choose to control how you respond to them. You create space between the feeling and the action. And in that space, your clarity, your power, your ability to make calm, thoughtful decisions all grow. It's like having a superpower in a world that thrives on emotional reactions and quick fixes. You stand firm, steady, and unwavering while everyone else is reacting. And when everyone else is reacting, you're acting, moving forward with a clarity that others can only wish for. Think about the moments when you've reacted to something in fear. How often did it lead to a solution? How often did it actually improve the situation? When we react out of fear, we don't make the best choices. We become trapped in our own emotional responses. But when we choose composure, we allow ourselves to see things for what they truly are. In that stillness, we find our power, our clarity, and our path forward. When you stop worrying, you stop giving power to the chaos around you. You gain the power to move forward, to act with intention, and to lead with confidence. And that is the true power of composure. Composure doesn't just change the way you respond to life. It changes how life responds to you. When you're calm in the storm, when you remain steady and unshaken, others notice. They start following your lead, trusting your judgment, and respecting your presence. Because calmness is contagious. It's a signal to others that you can handle whatever comes your way, no matter how tough the circumstances. So the next time life throws you a curveball, remember this. Your composure is your strength, and in that strength, your power grows. Have you ever felt like you had to force something to work, only to watch it crumble right in front of you? Maybe you tried to control every single variable, every step of the process, only to find that no matter how much effort you put in, it never worked out the way you expected. It's frustrating, isn't it? You tell yourself, if I just try harder, if I just push a little more, things will fall into place. But here's the truth. Forcing things never works. It's like trying to force open a door that's meant to open on its own. The more you try to push it, the more you wear yourself out, and still, it won't budge. True power, true success, doesn't come from constant force. It comes from trusting the process. Think of a seed. Does it grow because someone keeps pulling it up to check on it every few hours? Of course not. A seed grows because it's left to its own rhythm, nurtured by time, sunlight, and patience. The roots grow deep and steady without anyone hovering over it. Life works the same way. We often think that if we just control every outcome, if we could somehow predict what's next, we'll be in charge. But the reality is, life doesn't work on a schedule. It doesn't move in a straight line. When you stop trying to control every little detail, you make room for life to unfold naturally. That's when things begin to take their own shape. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control, Epictetus teaches us. And isn't that what we all want? To be free from the constant pressure of trying to make everything go according to plan. The truth is, the more you let go, the more life has the space to surprise you. You start to realize that you don't need to know everything, that you don't need to control every outcome. Things will still unfold, and sometimes they unfold in ways that you never could have predicted. The magic happens when you stop trying to force things into place and let them take their own natural course. And here's the beauty of it. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means allowing things to happen at the right time. It's about trusting that the right people, the right opportunities, the right experiences will come to you when you stop clinging to them so desperately. Think about the times in your life when you let go of control and just allowed things to unfold. Maybe you took a step back in a relationship or in your work, and suddenly things started falling into place. That's not coincidence. That's the power of trusting the process. The more you try to force something, the more you restrict its potential. But when you allow life to move as it should, it creates space for you to grow and for the things that are meant to be yours to find their way to you. It's like letting go of a tight grip. You allow room for something better, something more aligned with who you are, to come into your life. It's a delicate balance between taking action and allowing life to flow naturally. It's about knowing that there are moments when you need to push forward and moments when you need to step back. In both cases, the key is the same. Trust. Trust in the process, trust in yourself, and trust that life is unfolding exactly as it needs to. When you do this, you'll be amazed at how things start to line up, how the pieces begin to fall into place. The more you let go, the more you'll find that you don't need to control every little thing. You'll discover that you don't have to push so hard for things to work out. Instead, you can simply flow with the rhythm of life and allow it to take you where you need to go. The most powerful people aren't the ones who force every outcome. They're the ones who know when to step back and let life unfold. They understand that control is an illusion, that real power comes from embracing uncertainty and trusting the natural course of things. The more you practice this, the more you'll realize that life has a way of giving you exactly what you need when you stop trying to force it. Let go of the need to control every detail and watch how life starts to work for you instead of against you. In the end, it's not about how much you try to control. It's about how much you trust. Trust the process, trust yourself, and trust that things will work out in the way they're meant to. The more you let go, the more you'll find that life is not something to conquer, but something to experience with grace and patience. And that's where the true magic happens. There's a subtle yet profound shift that happens when you stop worrying. Your energy changes. Imagine for a moment the constant drain of overthinking, the never-ending cycle of what-if scenarios. It's exhausting. You tell yourself it's necessary, that it's protecting you, that you need to anticipate every possibility. But in reality, all it does is rob you of your energy. You're caught up in a frantic pace, moving from one worry to the next, never truly pausing, never finding stillness. But then, something shifts when you stop. You stop feeding into that frantic energy, and instead, you begin to move with purpose, with intention. The difference is like night and day. It's like stepping out of the whirlwind and into a space where you can finally breathe. People notice this change in you. They feel the calmness you radiate, even when the world around you seems to be spinning out of control. The calmness isn't about being indifferent or emotionally distant. It's about having a deep sense of control over yourself. You don't have to shout to be heard, and you don't have to rush to prove yourself. When you are calm, when you are grounded, people sense it. They trust it. They trust you. And trust is the foundation of influence. The more you embody that calm energy, the more others will gravitate toward you. This isn't the loud, chaotic influence that demands attention. It's the quiet, unwavering presence that naturally draws people in. The greatest remedy for anger is delay, says Seneca, and it's true in every sense. The greatest remedy for anxiety and fear is delay too, giving yourself a moment of pause to reflect and respond rather than react. It's the difference between acting with clarity and reacting from a place of panic. As your energy shifts, you begin to notice a profound change in your interactions with others. No longer do you leak your energy into situations that don't matter. Instead, you conserve it for what truly matters. You stop wasting your precious mental and emotional resources on things beyond your control. And with that conservation comes a sense of strength, a deep inner assurance that no matter what happens, you will respond thoughtfully, not impulsively. The people around you begin to sense that stability, that quiet power, and they start to look to you for guidance. They trust your decisions, even when they're unsure of their own. And when people trust you, opportunities start to follow. Doors open, conversations shift. You become someone others want to work with, someone whose judgment is sought after. Your calmness becomes magnetic, pulling in the opportunities that you would have missed when you were constantly caught in the whirlwind of worry. But it's not just about attracting opportunities. It's also about preserving your mental and emotional resources. When you stop worrying, you stop leaking your energy. How often have you felt drained after a day of constant overthinking? How much of that energy could have been better spent on something productive, something that moves you closer to your goals? Every time you worry, you're pouring your energy into an imagined future, one that might never happen. But when you stop worrying, you begin to redirect that energy toward action that matters. You give yourself the space to think clearly, to make decisions with purpose, rather than being caught up in the emotional chaos of your thoughts. He who is not a good servant will not be a good master, reminds Seneca. The energy you give to others should first and foremost be controlled by you, not dictated by the chaos you allow to dominate your thoughts. The act of conserving your energy doesn't mean you become passive. It doesn't mean you stop caring or taking action. What it means is that you become intentional with how you use your energy. You stop wasting it on anxiety and fear. You use it to focus on what truly matters, your goals, your relationships, your personal growth. Instead of reacting to every little trigger, you respond thoughtfully. Instead of rushing from one problem to the next, you take the time to evaluate each situation and choose your response wisely. This intentional use of energy is what allows you to act with purpose and power. It's like having a well of strength that never runs dry, because you're no longer depleting it on things that don't serve you. This change, this shift in energy, is what leads to a deeper sense of peace. As you stop worrying, You start to see the world in a different light. The chaos no longer feels like a threat. You don't need to control every situation, every person, every outcome. You trust that, no matter what happens, you will be able to navigate it. This trust doesn't come from blind optimism. It comes from the recognition that you have the inner strength to handle whatever life throws at you. You've learned how to stay grounded in the midst of uncertainty, and that is where true strength lies. When you stop reacting out of fear, you start to act from a place of clarity and confidence. The power of calmness is in its ability to influence without forcing. When you are calm, people notice. When you are calm, opportunities come your way because your presence signals stability and strength. The ability to stay grounded in chaos doesn't just make you resilient, it makes you magnetic. People want to be around you, they want to work with you, and they want to trust you because they see that you have something they don't: composure. And in a world full of noise, that calmness is more valuable than any quick reaction, any moment of frantic energy. You become the anchor others are searching for, and in that stillness, you find your power. So, the next time life starts to feel overwhelming, instead of diving into the chaos, remember this: you don't need to react. You don't need to feed into the frantic energy. You have everything you need inside of you to handle whatever comes your way. When you stop worrying, you conserve your energy for what truly matters. And that, my friend, is where real power lies. Fear, in its purest form, is simply a mindset. It's the belief that things won't work out unless you control every detail, that unless you have every angle covered, you're bound to fail. It's the voice in your head that whispers, "What if it doesn't go as planned?" Or, "What if I'm not prepared enough?" And in response, we rush to control, to micromanage every aspect of our lives, trying to outrun the anxiety that fear brings. But what if you stopped seeing fear as something to be avoided, as something you have to suppress at all costs? What if, instead of running from it, you began to see it as a tool, an opportunity for growth? Imagine facing the same situations that used to send you spiraling into anxiety, and instead of reacting impulsively, you simply observed. You took a step back and allowed yourself to process the emotion without judgment. What if, instead of fear making you freeze, it made you think, adapt, and respond? The only thing we have to fear is fear itself, Franklin D. Roosevelt famously said, and it's true. Fear itself is rarely the problem. It's our response to it that dictates our lives. The problem with fear is that we give it too much power. We run from it, we hide from it, and in doing so, we let it control us. But fear, when managed correctly, becomes a powerful catalyst for growth. It's not something that needs to be defeated, it's something that needs to be understood. What if, instead of avoiding fear, we started embracing it as a natural part of life, a signal that we are on the edge of something important, something that will push us to expand? Think about it. Every time you faced a challenge that scared you, but you came out on the other side, you grew, you learned, you became stronger. Fear is the mind's way of signaling that something significant is on the horizon, and if you treat it as a tool rather than an obstacle, you can transform it into a force that propels you forward, rather than something that holds you back. When you stop running from fear, you stop giving it the power to control you. Instead, you begin to use it to sharpen your awareness. Imagine walking into a difficult situation, maybe a challenging conversation or a high-stakes project, and instead of feeling overwhelmed by fear, you approach it with curiosity. You analyze the situation from a place of calm. What is the fear telling you? What is it trying to protect you from? When you can separate your emotional response from the actual reality of the situation, you start to see fear for what it truly is, a guide, not a roadblock. Carl Jung once said, There is no coming to consciousness without pain. This is what fear teaches us. It's not always comfortable, but it's through confronting our fears that we come to a deeper understanding of ourselves. Fear opens the door to self-awareness, to the realization that we are capable of handling more than we think. And once you see fear in this light, it loses its grip on you. Fear thrives on resistance. The more you try to push it away, to deny it, the stronger it becomes. But when you stop resisting it, when you allow yourself to sit with it instead of running from it, you start to change the dynamic. You stop seeing fear as an enemy, and instead, you begin to see it as a messenger. This shift in perspective is key. When you embrace fear, you create space for growth. You no longer feel trapped by it. You see it for what it is, a signal that you are stepping into unknown territory, that you are about to grow, stretch, and expand. The greater the obstacle, the more glory in overcoming it, says Molière. The obstacles in our lives often bring the most significant growth, and fear is a natural part of that process. When you stop resisting it, you start seeing the world differently. You realize that every time you face a fear and choose to move forward anyway, you gain something invaluable: confidence, resilience, and the courage to face the next challenge with greater ease. Fear doesn't just signal danger, it signals growth. When you stop resisting fear, you start to move with it rather than away from it. You stop letting it dictate your decisions, and instead, you begin to use it as a tool for greater awareness and understanding. It's no longer something that paralyzes you. It becomes something that energizes you. In fact, fear is often the push we need to take action. It's the force that gets us out of our comfort zones, that drives us to do the hard things that ultimately lead to success. Without fear, we might never take risks, never step outside the familiar. But when we learn to embrace it, to move with it, we unlock new levels of courage and confidence. This is the power of fear. It's not the enemy, it's the gateway to something more. So the next time fear shows up, instead of running from it, ask yourself, what is this fear trying to teach me? What is it opening me up to? How can I use it to become more aware, more present, and more resilient? Fear, when managed correctly, becomes a powerful ally in the pursuit of growth. And once you stop running from it, once you stop resisting it, you'll find that it no longer holds power over you. Instead, it becomes the tool that helps you unlock your full potential. Fear is not something to be feared. It's something to be understood. When you embrace it, you stop being controlled by it. You start using it to push you forward, to propel you into new experiences, new challenges, and new opportunities for growth. Fear is not the enemy. It's the guide that helps you become the person you were always meant to be. It's easy to think that the more you care about something, the more you'll be able to change it. You care about your job, your relationships, your goals, so you pour your heart and soul into every aspect of them. But have you ever noticed that when you're too emotionally attached to something, you begin to lose your sense of clarity? You start making decisions based on fear or anxiety rather than reason. Your mind becomes clouded, and your emotions take the wheel. This is where detachment comes in. It's not about not caring, it's about recognizing what's worth your attention and energy and what isn't. Detachment allows you to step back and evaluate what truly aligns with your goals, what deserves your emotional investment, and what is simply draining you. When you practice detachment, you give yourself the freedom to choose where to place your focus, rather than allowing external circumstances to control your emotional state. Think about it. How often do you find yourself caught up in things that are completely outside of your control? You might stress about the weather, about other people's opinions, or about the outcome of a situation that you can do nothing to influence. The more you invest your energy into these things, the more you end up depleted, without any tangible result. But when you let go of those attachments, when you stop pouring energy into things that have no impact on your life, you create space for what truly matters. You begin to see how much energy you were wasting, and suddenly there's room for you to focus on the things that align with your purpose. Detachment gives you back your time and your emotional well-being. It's the realization that you don't need to be emotionally invested in everything to live a meaningful, productive life. This is where the art of detachment becomes powerful. It's not about turning off your emotions or becoming a passive observer of life. It's about strategic focus, about choosing where you invest your time, attention, and energy. And this doesn't just apply to external situations, but also to your inner world. How often do you spend time dwelling on past mistakes or worrying about future uncertainties? The more you attach yourself to these thoughts, the more they drain you, keeping you stuck in a cycle of anxiety and regret. Detachment means letting go of the need to control every outcome and accepting that life will unfold, regardless of how tightly you hold on to it. By focusing on the present moment and what is within your control, you begin to see that peace and productivity aren't about doing more. They're about doing less, but with more intention. Once you start practicing detachment, you begin to realize how much more peace you have in your life. You stop getting swept away by other people's expectations, by the noise of the world around you, and by the endless cycle of worrying about things you can't change. Instead, you direct your energy towards the things that bring you closer to your goals. The more you practice detachment, the more you begin to understand that your true source of power lies within your ability to stay grounded, to remain calm amidst the chaos, and to focus only on what serves your purpose. It's easy to think that in order to succeed, we have to be involved in everything, that we need to care about every little detail. But in reality, the more you try to control, the less power you have. True mastery comes from knowing where to place your focus. It comes from recognizing that you don't need to hold on to everything in order to succeed. Instead, you let go of what no longer serves you, so you can make room for what truly matters. Detachment isn't about withdrawing from life. It's about letting go of the things that drain you, so you can pour your energy into what builds you up. And here's the secret. When you learn to let go, you don't lose your connection to the world, you gain a deeper one. By freeing yourself from the need to control everything, you become more attuned to the flow of life. You begin to move through life with purpose and intention, knowing that you don't need to control every outcome to be successful. You trust the process, trust yourself, and trust that everything will unfold as it should. Detachment isn't about abandoning life, it's about embracing it fully without the emotional baggage that weighs you down. When you do this, you'll find that life doesn't feel so heavy anymore. It feels lighter, clearer, and more fulfilling. This is the power of detachment. The final piece of the puzzle is embracing uncertainty. Most people spend their lives in a constant state of fear about what's coming next. They worry about the future, agonizing over every decision, every possibility. We all know that feeling, right? That nagging voice in your head telling you that if you don't prepare for every eventuality, something will go wrong. But here's the truth. Uncertainty is where opportunity thrives. It's in the unknown that life has the chance to surprise you, to push you to new heights, to lead you down paths you might never have imagined. The more you try to control the future, the more you close yourself off from the very possibilities that make life exciting. When you stop worrying about what's coming and start accepting that you can't predict everything, you open yourself up to the flow of life. You start to see opportunities where others see only risks. Think about the most successful people in history, the ones who changed the world, the ones who created the future instead of fearing it. They didn't achieve greatness by avoiding uncertainty. Far from it. They embraced it. They understood that nothing in life is certain, and that's where their strength lay. They took action without knowing exactly how things would turn out. They had no guarantees, no promises of success, and yet they moved forward with confidence. They trusted in their ability to adapt, to learn, and to grow through whatever challenges came their way. And that's what made them unstoppable. Their success wasn't built on knowing the future. It was built on embracing the unknown and moving through it with a sense of purpose and resilience. This is something we all can learn to do. Imagine how much less stress you'd have if you stopped fearing what's next and started trusting in your ability to respond. Instead of spending endless hours stressing over every detail of your plan, what if you simply acted, knowing that you'll adapt as you go? This doesn't mean ignoring preparation or strategy. It means recognizing that no matter how much you plan, life will always throw a curveball. The key is not in trying to predict every turn, but in trusting that when the unexpected comes, you will be ready for it. You'll find that when you embrace uncertainty, you begin to move more confidently through life. Things start falling into place, not because you controlled every detail, but because you allowed space for the unexpected, for growth, and for opportunities to unfold naturally. The fear of uncertainty often keeps us stuck. It paralyzes us, keeps us from taking action, and makes us hesitate when we should be moving forward. We're afraid of making the wrong decision, afraid of what could happen if we take a leap. But the truth is, the greatest mistake you can make in life is to be continually fearing you will make one. As Elbert Hubbard wisely put it, fear of making the wrong choice holds us back from even making any choice at all. But here's the thing, inaction in itself is a choice. When we fear uncertainty, we choose to remain stagnant, to keep our lives in the holding pattern of what if and maybe later. And all that does is keep us stuck in the same place, spinning our wheels and missing out on what could be. What if we let go of that fear? What if we embraced the uncertainty of life, knowing that not every outcome is under our control? The most powerful people in history didn't wait for certainty. They didn't wait for the perfect moment. They moved forward with confidence, even when they didn't know exactly how things would turn out. And this isn't just about taking wild risks without thinking. It's about trusting yourself enough to know that no matter what happens, you have the ability to handle it. When you let go of the need to know every step in advance, you give yourself the freedom to act with courage and conviction. And it's that courage, that willingness to step into the unknown, that unlocks opportunities you would have never seen if you were waiting for the perfect plan to come together. You might be thinking, but how do I stop fearing the unknown? The answer is simpler than it seems, by taking small steps toward it. The more you push through the discomfort of uncertainty, the more you realize that it's not as scary as you thought. Every time you take action, even when you're unsure of the outcome, you build trust in yourself. You learn that, while you may not know exactly what will happen, you can handle whatever does come. It's about shifting your mindset from fear to possibility. Instead of seeing uncertainty as a threat, you start to see it as an opportunity for growth, for change, for something better. There's a strength in uncertainty that you won't find in certainty. When everything is predictable, there's no room for innovation, no room for evolution. The unknown is where new ideas, new opportunities, and new ways of thinking are born. It's where the most exciting and transformative things happen. And the more you embrace it, the more you step into that space of potential, the more you'll find that life begins to unfold in ways you never expected, but always needed. So, how do you begin to embrace uncertainty? Start by acknowledging that it's a part of life. You can't avoid it. You can't predict it. But you can choose how to respond to it. You can choose to move forward, trusting that even if things don't go as planned, you'll adapt, learn, and grow from the experience. Life isn't about controlling every outcome, it's about trusting the process, knowing that you are strong enough to handle whatever comes your way. When you stop fearing what's next, you open the door to the endless possibilities life has to offer. And that, my friend, is where the magic truly happens. The truth is, uncertainty is where your greatest opportunities lie. When you stop fearing what's next, you give yourself the freedom to grow, to adapt, and to truly live. Life isn't a puzzle to solve, it's an adventure to experience. So step into the unknown with confidence and watch how everything starts to fall into place. Thank you for being part of Stoic Journal. If you're ready to dive deeper into embracing uncertainty and living with purpose, check out one of the videos on the screen. Until next time, stay calm, stay focused, and trust the process.